Hello and welcome to our fall welcome night. I am so excited for you all to be here, and I want to say thanks for joining us live, or to those who are watching this again as a save stream, thanks for coming by. My name is Erica March, and I am the new Director of Education at Town Hall Theater, and I'm so excited to be joining Town Hall Theater Education live this fall 2021. Over the past year, we've ventured into cyberspace, and over the summer, we braved the heat and the great outdoors. But this fall, it is officially time to come home to Town Hall Theater. We're building classes this session's a little bit different to stay on the safe and flexible side as we meet back indoors for the first time in what feels like forever. So I'm very excited for you all to be here tonight. We're going to have some information for you about our fall classes, as well as a special guest appearance from one of our teaching artists here at Town Hall Theater, as well as at the end of this event, we will have a little bit of a question and answer portion. So if you have any questions and are watching live, go ahead and drop those into the comments, and we will get a chance to answer as many of those questions as we are able to. And finally, before we get started here, I just wanted to shout out that if your student is in our elementary or high school classes, there's still a couple spots available. So if you have any friends who are interested in coming on down and joining us at Town Hall Theater Education, we would love to have them. They can check out the website and see what classes we have available, and we'd love to have them join us starting in classes next week. Super exciting. Now, I am very excited now to pass it on to our wonderful teaching artist who's going to be joining us here tonight. Tonight we have with me Henry Halkyard, who is going to be teaching our middle school classes this fall. So Henry, come on down. He's going to get a chance to talk to you a little bit about what he's doing here this fall and his experience with Town Hall Theater.
Hi everybody. My name is Henry Halkyard. I am one of the resident teaching artists at Town Hall, and I'm so excited to be returning to in-person classes with all of your students. I am originally from Las Vegas, Nevada. I went to school in New York, and I've been out here in the Bay Area for a few years now. Previously at Town Hall, show-wise, I was in Cinderella, a fairy tale. And then class-wise, I have taught the 4th and 5th grade Press Start show. I've done All Shook Up with the middle schoolers, and I was teaching Rock of Ages with the middle schoolers before the pandemic hit. So I am so very excited to be back, and we are ready to jump right into the video game Palooza this fall, which is a very wacky comedy that I'm sure all of your students are going to get a kick out of. But real quick, just to talk about Town Hall's education program in general, I really love teaching here for a whole mess of reasons, but I'm going to share a few of them with you guys tonight. One of the biggest things that I love about Town Hall's education program is that it's very collaboration based, and it's very process over product based. So while we do offer classes that culminate in a show or a performance, the classes, I view those as kind of the fun bonus at the end, right? The real bulk of the class and the real meat of it is all of the experiences that the students get to have with one another in each class, collaborating with one another, working on ideas and scene writing with one another. And kind of coming together to celebrate all these different sort of acting techniques that we spend time learning throughout the semester. And it's great to see students come in at the beginning of the semester that have, some sort of hesitancy towards theater, or they have some kind of shell, or they're not sure, and to see them sort of blossom throughout the semester and come out on the other end super proud of the work that they've created, super enthusiastic about the show. It warms my heart to see when kids are practicing their choreography during snack breaks, and I have to remind them to eat snacks. But seriously, it's a real blast working with these kids. And I guess now I can talk a little bit about the video game Palooza. I'm sure some of you have had students sign up for this class and you're like, what is this show? I was similarly in your boat. The Video Game of Palooza is a hilarious comedy written by Don Zolaitis, and it is a straight play, so there's no singing or dancing, well, except for a little bit at the end. But it is a comedy that follows a member of Gen Z and a member of Gen X as they journey through the history of video games as we know it. So it's sort of an anthology kind of play, and what I mean by that is every scene has different characters and a different story. And so everybody who is in this show is going to get a chance to play all kinds of different wacky characters. And on top of that, we're also going to spend a good amount of time this semester doing scene writing exercises and improvisation exercises. And that kind of wraps into another one of my favorite things about Town Hall is that, we get these shows to begin with, but then we as teachers have the freedom with the kids to truly kind of turn them into whatever we want them to be. It's a real collaborative process between the teachers and the students in terms of kind of turning this work into something that represents who we feel we are as a group. And always we would want to make it something that we'd want to watch in the first place. So this, more than anything, is going to be a show where I'm going to ask all these kids for their advice, their input and their ideas, and I'm so excited to see the final product come out. So other things to talk about. Let's see. Yes, the casting process. So as with all Town Hall shows, classes, if you have signed up for the class, congratulations, your student is in the show. For my class and for middle school and high school, we run auditions, not as a way of finding out who is best for the part, but as a way of meeting each student and finding out what they want to get out of the class that fall or that spring. So we use it as a chance to, get to know everybody and also ask them about what they think their strengths are, what their weaknesses are, and we cast all of our shows based on what we think, what character we think they will get the most out of through the experience. So that is how we make our kind of casting decisions. But in terms of auditions, there's nothing to prepare for, at least for my class. And it's truly just a chance to say hi, get to know one another, and there should be no pressure involved. My audition specifically will be a cold read, so nothing to memorize. And for my parents who have signed up, make sure that you pick an audition slot in that doodle link that I sent out so we know when you will be joining us this Sunday. That is pretty much all of it in a nutshell. But once again, I am super duper excited to be back with all of you this fall in person. I feel so lucky to be able to get to spend the amount of time that I do with all of your students. They truly inspire me and they make me laugh so hard. I truly can't wait to get started. And I will go ahead, without further ado, pass it back to Erica, and she can take it from there.
Yay! Thank you so much, Henry. Round of applause, my digital applause here for you. He said a lot of things that I could not say better myself. Absolutely. We are very excited to have him back on board with us. It's been a long pandemic year without him, but we're so excited to have Henry back. He's a wonderful teaching artist and has braved the main stage as well. So I have a couple of topics that I wanted to touch on that are kind of the most common questions and such that I've been seeing from parents and guardians coming in about what we're going to be doing. And the first is something that Henry got a chance to talk about here a little bit. But my first topic that I want to talk about is kind of what is our class focus? And this is going to be helpful for new faces, so folks who haven't joined us before, or folks who are coming back to join us again. So our class focus for this fall is going to be in empowering an ensemble of storytellers. Here it is. Empowering an ensemble of storytellers to connect, empathize, and commit. That is also one of our main missions at Town Hall Theater Education. As Henry so wonderfully mentioned, we are a process-based program, meaning that the largest portion of the class will be students learning new skills and ways of building a community together with their peers. He put it really well, so I don't feel the need to continue to talk about it since he said it so well. But as he mentioned, the final performance does serve more as a celebration of their work and collaboration rather than the main focus or goal of the class. And this year, especially after so much time apart and so much time away from the theater, it's a really important goal for us at Town Hall Theater Education to work on building that community and that collaboration with the teachers and the students all together in one room. Now, of course, it's super exciting to get back in the room, but I'm sure you may be wondering how we're going to be doing that. And we want to make sure we're doing that in the most safe way possible. So I have for you just a couple of our COVID protocols for this upcoming fall. There's three main things we're going to be focusing on for fall, and those are smaller class sizes, masks for all students, teachers, and anyone entering the building, and single student materials. So for smaller class sizes, you may have noticed when you signed up that it seems there's just about the same number of spots available in each class, and that is true. But what we're going to be doing is having more lead teaching artists in each class and then dividing the class up into some smaller groups, especially for our elementary school level that hasn't had the chance to get vaccinated yet. This is going to allow for increased social distancing and increased stage time for them all to be working together and get more time on the stage. So that's something that we're very excited to be continuing on. In addition, there is the mask mandate for anyone entering buildings, which we at Town Hall Theater are taking seriously because so many of our students are not yet able to be vaccinated. So for anyone entering the building, that means all students, guardians, and staff, regardless of vaccination status, we're asking to come in masked up so we can all continue to work and play in a safe environment. And finally, we're going to be focusing on having a lot of single student materials. And that means providing individual materials to each student. So we're limiting the amount of sharing of items. And that can be things like notebooks, props, or costumes. We're making sure that everyone has their own individual one, that even if we have multiple casts of the same thing, we're going to have each student have their own things, props, costumes, so that we can limit that sharing of things together. We're still going to be able to work collaboratively, but that'll help reduce the amount of crossover we get between students. Now, while our focus is in process and the learning of skills in class, I'm sure you're wondering, now, in this modern world, what will the final performance look like if we're not all able to gather together? And that's a very good question. For our final class performances, we're going to be doing a filmed final performance. That means at this time, each student will have one guest allowed into the final filming so that we can keep it in a very small audience, and then we can share that recorded final performance later after we've had a chance to edit it so it looks beautiful to share with your friends and family who are not able to be in the room. As we move along in time, we may be able to ease that restriction and allow a bigger audience into our theater, but at this time, with the current mandates, we're not able to do that. So watch your inbox as we move forward to see if that's something that we're able to lift, and we're going to stay in guide with state and local guidelines for what's going to be safest for all of our students, staff, and guardians here at Town Hall Education. So those were my big things to share with you all. I know it's a lot of talking, but I'm glad you're here all with me if you're still here. And I haven't seen many questions come through in the chat. So if you have any that have come up on things that we've talked about thus far, please feel free to drop it down into the chat below. We will be more than happy to answer your questions. But there's one other thing that we haven't talked about. Now I'd like to bring my co-star, Henry Halkyard, on back in to help me answer this question. Hello, Henry, welcome back.
Hello.
Henry, you did such a wonderful job talking about what the middle school classes are going to be doing this year, doing their fall play, which I'm so excited to see. I was wondering if you could talk to us a little bit about what some of the other classes are doing. And for those who don't know, a lot of our elementary classes are doing something that's more of a retold tales style. So in the description, it's not necessarily a written play, but more of a theme or idea. And so, Henry, I was wondering if you could tell us all a little bit, what is retold tales and what does that mean?
Absolutely. Yeah. So Retold Tales is a super fun kind of spin that we've put on our classes. We first piloted this sort of class idea back at the beginning of the pandemic when we were at home and we needed something a little bit more, collaboration based, where we couldn't spend a lot of time in person, specifically blocking people to walk around and stand in one place and sing this thing. Retold Tales is kind of our way of turning devised theater, as you would call it, I guess, in the art world, into something that is doable for elementary school students or middle school students. And so the way it works is, like Erica said, we take a theme or a sort of maybe a set story like Cinderella or a Shakespeare story that has been around for a long time, something that everybody's sort of familiar with. And then we kind of collaborate with the students to figure out what their strengths are, what kind of things they enjoy watching, right? What kind of movies or shows or plays or books they enjoy consuming. And then we sort of apply those two things together and we turn this already existing tale into something that represents not only the themes in that tale, but also represents who we are as a group. So for the elementary school classes, it's going to be a lot of fun because everybody will get to put their own input in there. Everybody will get a chance to experiment with scene writing. They'll get a chance to experiment with character creation as well. And at the end, it's super fun because what gets up on stage is all created by the kids. So sometimes it's insane. Sometimes the parents are like, what is happening? Sometimes the teachers are a little bit like, what is happening? But the kids are having a blast, and it's great to see something come from their minds and get put up in the real world. So Retold Tales is a big blast. I'm psyched that your students get to experience it.
Absolutely. And the thing that I love most about it is, we get to see their imaginations kind of come to life through there and then add the set and the props and the lights. And it really becomes quite the magical performance that they get to really take ownership in and share with the world kind of what's going on in their heads these days. Well, thank you so much, Henry, for being here and for helping out. You're much appreciated here. I did want to shout out to my parents and guardians. This is not your only time to be joining us here during your class series. I want to invite you to our next parents event, which is going to be our mid-class mixer that's going to be coming up about halfway through classes. So that is going to be a little sneak peek of what your students have been doing in class. So we'll have some pictures and videos to share of what they've been up to. And you get a chance to mix and mingle with some of the other town hall education families from your class or from other classes from your students' age range. The date and time for that event is to be announced. We're going to figure out when's going to work best for all of our parents and make sure that it doesn't fall on a school event, so that way all of you can come and enjoy each other's company and get to know some of the other folks in the Town Hall Education family. Thank you all so much for being able to join us here tonight. And thank you for those who are able to rewatch this and get a little bit more information. I hope you are just as excited as I am to be heading into this fall session back at Town Hall Theater in person. Super exciting. If you have any other questions or concerns that come up, you can reach me directly at, you can see my name here, erica.march@townhalltheater.com, or you can reach out to our general education@townhalltheater.com email, and we'll get back to you on any questions or concerns that come up. Again, if you have friends or family that are like, ooh, that sounds fun, I want to do that, send them on to our website. We still have a couple spots available, and we would absolutely love to see each and every one of their smiling faces in our building this fall. Thank you all so much for watching and coming by, and we look forward to seeing your students in class very soon. Thanks. Bye.